Let's first recall how regular
Titles are now given out to celebrities. Titles are now given out to celebrities. When the nobility teamed up, it was always bad for the crown. When the nobility teamed up, it was always bad for the crown. In Russia, noble rank was measured by how many serfs you possessed. Russia's relationship with nobility differed from the rest of Europe. For much of history, Russia lacked any sizable middle class. There was a tiny percentage of royals and nobles on one end of the spectrum, and a massive population of impoverished serfs on the other. Russia's economic system therefore relied on forced labor for centuries, and nobility and wealth was measured by how many serfs one possessed. In a way, it was similar to the system of plantation owners and slavery that defined the southern U.S. economy in the 18th and 19th centuries leading up to the Civil War. Russia was always trying to play catch-up with Western Europe, but this systemic economic difference was an impassable hindrance, and the vast inequality of serfdom was at the roots of the Russian Revolution in 1917. Titles could be gained through military victories long after the Middle Ages. Gaining a noble title through feats of military strength began with a lord and his vassal in the Middle Ages. A knight fought bravely and was rewarded accordingly with a land payment. Over time, a form of nobility developed that was not due to victory in battle. In France, the two types of nobility were formally separated. There was the nobility of the robe, which was earned through working for the crown, and the nobility of the sword, which was inherited from an initial military victory. In more recent times, such as during the Napoleonic Wars, military heroes like the Vice Admiral Viscount Horatio Nelson were given their titles due to military success. To this day, members of the military can still be given an honorary peerage if deemed deserving. The Industrial Revolution nearly destroyed the aristocracy. Keeping up a noble estate and all the trappings that came along with such a lifestyle required an almost endless amount of funds. Originally, much of a noble's wealth came from their land holdings. Before the start of the Industrial Revolution, land was the most reliable source of wealth, but as economics underwent a dramatic shift with the advancement of technology, the way noble families made their money began to change, too. Land grew less profitable, and the traditional avoidance of work meant that an aristocrat couldn't seek employment elsewhere without shaming their family and potentially losing their title. By the turn of the 20th century, many noble families could no longer afford to keep up the massive estates which had begun to surround them. With the rise of new money, different options emerged for reinvigorating the family coffers. Instead of marrying other impoverished aristocrats, families looked elsewhere for matrimonial opportunities. The trend of cash brides came into vogue, with wealthy American girls gaining noble titles in exchange for the huge fortunes their families possessed. When Consuelo Vanderbilt, a member of the wealthy Vanderbilt Railroad dynasty, married the Duke of Marlborough in 1895, in years prior, the illustrious Marlborough family would never have dreamed of marrying an untitled American. But they were hardly the only aristocratic family to fall on hard times, and many other noble families followed their example. The poor noble is a trope as old as the nobility itself. The poor noble is a trope as old as the nobility itself. Nobility could be revoked if one worked a regular job. Nobility could be revoked if one worked a regular job. Noble titles are passed almost exclusively through the male line. Noble titles are passed almost exclusively through the male line. Noble rank is heavily codified. Noble rank is heavily codified. Nobility is the ultimate tax break for the rich. Nobility is the ultimate tax break for the rich. Buying and selling nobility was big business. Buying and selling nobility was big business. Nobility is rooted in feudalism and holy war. Nobility is rooted in feudalism and holy war.
Hey guys, thank you so much for the support and likes and comments down below, and also thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to see you in the next video then. Take care. Bye.